Welcome back to the J&Z podcast. This is episode 9.
9, man.
9 times.
9 weeks.
That reminds me of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the principal.
Yeah, which we're going to have to do sometime.
We will. You've been absent 9 times.
They think he's a pretty cool dude.
They think he's a righteous dude.
She's awesome in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but he's just like, I need a fucking car, and I need to get the fuck home. She's like, the last car's off the lot. Really? Guess you're fucked. It's so good. Great movie. We'll have to review that around Thanksgiving. But what did we review this week?
We watched one of the most terrifying movies of my childhood, which was Terminator 2.
Come with me if you want to live.
Thank you.
For me, this movie, I love it, like out of the whole franchise, out of all the Terminator movies, because there's only 3 of them.
Yeah. So what happened was you got hit in the head in like 2004,
Yep.
And then nothing else. No other Terminator movies.
No, yeah, that was it.
I hate myself, so I've seen all of them.
I know you have, yeah. Okay, so Terminator 2, the reason, and this is a hot take, okay?
Go for it.
Controversial. I think the actor in this movie that played the bad guy was scarier than Arnold Schwarzenegger in the first one.
Oh, 100%. When I was watching this movie, I have weird thoughts, and the weirdest... I have really weird thoughts, and the weirdest thought that came in my head was, who would I rather die from? Arnold or Robert Patrick, the guy from T2.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Arnold would shoot me in the head. Like, I would see him with a gun, and I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, just please don't shoot me in my crotch. Just shoot me in my head.
Yeah,
but Robert Patrick, like, he would, like, look at you and be like, hey, is there something weird in this room? And you go, oh, there's something. And then just right through the dome.
Yeah, okay. Robert Patrick would follow you. He would learn about your lifestyle.
Oh, God.
And go, okay, it's 8:09. This is where Jared makes his 9th cup of coffee on a Monday. Just like you said, I'd open the cabinet with a Keurig and... You just dead. Because my life is so goddamn predictable, he would be like, oh, this is the easiest of my entire life. This is so simple.
Yeah, 8:09. And then, God, it's just... We're gonna...
The Keurig goes off.
Oh my God, the Keurig turns into the Terminator. It's a mini Terminator. Just...
Yeah, so again...
Again, weird thoughts that go through.
Way scarier than Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger was scary because it's like exactly what you said in the previous episode, because he has that accent, and he sounds like a machine.
Yep.
Where the other guy, I don't know what it is, and I was talking to my mom actually about this, and she totally agreed with me. She thought that the second Robert Patrick was way more terrifying, and she's like, anytime I see him in anything else, he could be in an Allstate commercial, and he could go,
That's Allstate, stand. Are you in good hands?
That's... My mom would just change, you turn off the TV and go, okay, gotta go to bed.
He's like, that's Allstate's plan. Are you in good hands?
Exactly.
Not blinking.
Yeah.
I read some trivia about him where he learned how to fire guns without blinking. Like, he would go to the gun range.
Ew.
And he would try these different guns, and he wouldn't blink. Like, every time he pulled the trigger, no blinking whatsoever. And during the scenes where he chases after John Connor, he actually, like, learned how to, he breathed through his nose, and he just sprinted. Like, the way he sprints is just, that's creepy to me. Like, him firing a gun without blinking, sure, a lot of actors learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But his run, it's not like Naruto running. It's literally, it's not a sprinter.
It's calculated.
Yes, exactly.
So, like, for me, when I'm watching this movie again, I'm thinking exactly what you are in some cases, where it's like, what would I do if I was in that situation? And I'm comparing, like, frightening Terminator moments in the first one to the second one, right?
Yeah.
So I think we agree the scariest scene in the first one is when he kills her mom, I think it is, in like the cabin, and she calls her mom. She goes, Mom, I just want to make sure you're okay. And you just see, the camera shot is it like slowly like pans through the cabin, and you don't see him yet, but you hear, hey, honey, it's your mom. I just wanted to call and say I love you. I don't know, it sounds like homo.
No, but it's true.
And then you see Terminator, and he's just sitting there, like, that was scary. That's really scary. In this one, it's the running. It's absolutely, like, when he just, it's the, like, his arm, his torso, perfectly still, his arms just move. Not
blinking. He doesn't blink when he runs, and it's just, that's scarier than anything else. In the entire movie. Like, he morphs into other people, and I'm like, well, yeah, Terminator does that. But when he's just running without blinking, I'm like, okay, that's a machine. Like, that's a machine.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think, too, like, in terms of the Terminator movies, there's more at stake, it feels like, in this one.
Yeah.
Because in the first one, you're still kind of trying to figure out what's going on, and it's like, oh, okay, there's this guy that's important that like needs to be protected. I don't know who he is yet, and then they bang each other, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the second one, it's like, oh, that's the kid.
Yep.
Okay, protect it. It's like Counter-Strike, like
counter-terrorists win. Right? No, I was actually thinking about that. I was like, so for the Terminator, this is Grand Theft Auto because the way he's driving the cars in this, it's how I play in Grand Theft Auto, getting in the trucks and just going 90 miles per hour,
smashing it into a wall, getting into another truck.
Exactly. Yeah. Throwing people out of the trucks. But for the Terminator, it's literally like a protection mission. It's a, like, you have to, like, if you ever played Resident Evil 4, like, you have to follow Ashley and you have to save her when she's like, Leon, help me! And it's like, just get in the dumpster. Just get in the dumpster.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I'm having a flashback.
That's okay. Let me ask you a question. So, one of the things that I think was tricky in the second one is Arnold is a good guy.
He's awesome.
So, hang on a second.
Okay.
Put yourself in Sarah Connor's shoes. Okay, you're not Zar Elke, you're Sarah Connor. Can you trust?
No.
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 Can you trust the first Terminator?
No.
Why would you interact with him?
Well, exactly like she does. When she first sees him, she screams, and she actually runs towards the orderlies. Like, the orderlies are like, we're going to beat you, knock you out, and throw you back in your cell. And she's like, good, do it, please. Please.
By the way, classic orderlies.
Yeah, right? The entire movie, it's just like, God, you guys suck. Like, just the entire time. And there's a shot of her doing, like, pull-ups, and I was like, God, I want to get ripped. Like, when she's just like, 1, 15, 30, I was like, God, I want to get in shape. It's almost summer. Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing more terrifying, though, when there's, like, a crazy person that ends up telling the truth or being truthful.
Right.
There's two things that come to mind for me. The first one is the first Terminator movie where it shows the guy Kyle Reese, where he's sitting in the chair while he's getting
he's coming for her.
He's gonna kill, and he's just shaking.
Why am I watching this?
Like, do you believe me now? And it's like, okay, that's terrifying. The other one that reminds me of is a movie that it's like my guilty pleasure movie. Everyone hates it. Has John Cusack in it. It's 2012.
Oh.
I don't know why, but whatever, like, my life...
And that came out in, like, 2010.
Yeah. For me, like, whenever my life is going bad, or I'm like, oh, I have a slip, or I had a bad day, or, I don't know, something...
Anything small, like, oh, man, I dropped my keys.
Yeah, very much first world problems. I watched 2012 because I'm like, okay, the ground isn't collapsing around me, everything's better.
I'm not seeing a tidal wave of water coming at my face.
But so in that movie, Woody Harrelson plays this crazy camper, and he's like, they have maps and spaceships, and Yellowstone's gonna blow, you need to get out of here. And he's like, okay, kids, go to sleep. This guy's a psychopath.
This guy's not real.
And then it all happens, and he runs into him again, and he's like, I told you! And I was like, that's horrifying.
That's really scary.
You never want the crazy person
to be...
And that happens too. There's crazy people at the beginning of these, like, bigger movies that are like, oh, death's coming is the end of times, and it's like foreshadowing.
I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, if I ever heard someone, like, really convincing, like, say that to me, I'd be like, oh, God, let me give you all of my money. Like, we need, like, if someone's like, we got to go out to the desert because, like, cyber, everything's gonna go online soon. I'd be like, all right, well, looks like I'm selling all my possessions. Let me put on some, like, she says that line where she's like, you can't, it's going to happen, and you can't even put on SPF like 1 billion because it's going to burn our retinas. And I was just like, oh God, she is selling this like really, really good. And that was actually something that they talked about with the marketing in this movie, is they wanted to hide the fact that Arnold was the good guy. And that's why
it's like a big reveal. Yeah.
It's a big reveal, but now everybody knows like Arnold's the good guy in this movie.
Right.
But that was something that the marketing, they're like, let's really hide this, so when people go see it, they're like, oh my God, that's the Terminator. And it's like, wait a second, he's the good guy. He's gonna be friends with John Connor and high five him and go, hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, I think
fuck off, asshole.
Yeah, he does such a great job in this movie. It's really well casted.
Oh,
I think the tricky thing though is the time travel stuff again. Like it's and I'm gonna be the time travel guy.
I know
it's the plot holes.
It gets more and more messy.
It does. Yeah, it's like there's a term for this, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But basically, the concept is they make a new movie. And then they say, well, actually, all of this stuff happened in the previous movie. You just didn't see it.
Yeah, you know what we call that? Covering our ass.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
A perfect example. And this was done beautifully, okay? Another hot take, controversial.
Here we go.
My favorite Star Wars movie of all time is Rogue One.
I really like that one. We saw that in theaters.
We did. Favorite Star Wars movie of all time. But all of that movie is tying up the biggest plot hole in movie history, which is you shoot into a vent and it blows up a planet.
Right.
And then they're like, wait a second, we can fix that and make millions of dollars.
That entire movie was a Reddit thread come to life. It was literally like Reddit being like, well, how did this happen? And they're like, oh God, they have like 50,000 people. We got to solve this. Let's cast everybody and do special effects and bring back Darth Vader, which
the screenwriters just went to 4chan and went copy
paste
yeah.
Rogue One, definitely a great movie. We saw that in theaters. I don't want this to be the Rogue One episode, but we got to review that sometime.
Definitely yeah. So back to Terminator.
Favorite moments
for me, I like when Arnold is like trying to be more human.
Yeah.
But then I have an intrusive thought where I'm like, what if he's just using that information?
He's just pretending.
Yeah, I think that's just my brain still never trusting him to be the good guy. Like, it was a bold move by James Cameron to take what was probably one of the most terrifying villains in movie history at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And go, whoop! Uno reverse card, good guy.
Right, exactly. And
not fucking buying it.
And it's pretty cool because with this movie they used a lot of twins. Like the two fatter actors that play like the security guard, they're actually twins in real life. They were in Gremlins too. And at the very, I know, just like oompa oompa dee doo. With the mom, Connor.
Yeah, Sarah Connor.
Yeah, Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
She actually, Linda Hamilton, has a twin in real life. So when she's like, call to John, that's actually her twin. And the one, like, the shotgun play in this movie is so sick. Like, that's Arnold practiced doing the one-handed shotgun pump during, like, the car chase scene. Yeah. And when Linda Hamilton has, like, the one arm and she's just like, shooting, God, it's so cool. I always wonder, though, watching these types of movies, like, where do those plants come from? Like the lava plant. Yeah. Like you see some of the movies and it's like, does this warehouse just make sparks? Like is that like, oh, let's have a fight. We're gonna have a fight in a warehouse that just makes sparks. That's all it does.
So in this movie, when you learn more about like the Terminator and how it changes and how they have to like stop it from happening, there's a lot of like ethical questions I think that need to be asked because I think it's one of the age-old questions that get asked when it comes to time travel is people are like, oh, I'd go back in time and I'd kill baby Hitler. Like, that's the first thing I would do.
I mean, obviously, that's what you do.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, your logic, yes, airtight, but can you fucking kill a baby?
Exactly, right?
Like, that's insane. Like that's
pretty intense.
That's really intense. And so it's like
I heard a comedian make a joke about that where it was just like, yeah, so many people people would say, oh, I'd go back in time and kill baby Hitler. So by the time you get back in time to do that, there would be nothing left of baby Hitler because everybody shot it. I don't know. I have a dark sense of humor, but whatever.
I think my favorite joke in that regard is Norm Macdonald when he was on Conan O'Brien. And I don't know what happened. World War II came up or something.
Yeah.
And Norm said, you know, the more and more I hear about this Hitler guy, I'm really starting to not like him.
That's pretty great.
It's funny.
But no, with T2, it is one of those things where it's like the more you think about it, the more it really does get like loose.
Yeah, it's like, hi, I'm James Cameron.
Please don't think about it.
Don't think about
look
it.
Look at the special effects. Aren't the special effects cool?
Yeah.
Look at the acting.
There's Arnold.
Yeah. So with this movie, I think the scariest scene for me, especially with the time that we're living in, is the nuclear holocaust.
Oh,
the
of course.
Explosion. And reading
was she shaking the fence?
Oh god, I read some of the trivia, and like the government came out and said that that's the most realistic depiction of an atomic bomb going off. That is horrifying to me. All the time in the movie when I hear like Russia, when it's just like, well, why Russia? There are friends.
No,
it's like, I know. It's just like watching it, knowing that the government was like, you know, guys, it's a funny, good movie, happy, good stuff, but it's actually really accurate to what it looks like, and it's like that is horrifying to me.
Well, so, you know, this is off topic, but I think it's interesting and funny to bring up. So I went and watched a musical at a theater this weekend. I went and saw Anastasia.
Nice.
Now, if you're not familiar with Anastasia, it takes place in Russia in like the early 1900s, like 1912.
Yep, early 1900s.
But the guy at the beginning of the show did the most perfect thing to keep me engaged. He came out and he was like, "Hey everybody, I'm so glad to have you in the theater. We haven't done much, production since COVID. I just want to let you know a couple things. Masks aren't mandatory. Please, if you'd like to have one on, you can. Also, we're going to be using a prop gun. So there is going to be a gun on stage. Just know it's a prop. It looks real, but it's a prop. All right, we're going to have a great show. We'll see you guys soon." And then he goes backstage, and I'm sitting there going, okay, so at some point, there's going to be a gun. I thought this was a kid's movie. Now I'm really fucking engaged.
Well, because it's Chekhov's gun. It's exactly. Like you don't introduce a gun.
But I don't know that. I have never seen Anastasia, so every scene...
When does the gun come out?
Yeah. Anastasia's like, they're sitting on the bed with their grandma, and she goes, "My little Anastasia." I'm like, where is it? Where's the gun? What's that in her dress? Is that the gun? Every scene. They're on the train going to Paris, and I'm like, here it comes, baby, here it comes. Here's the gun, it's showtime. No. And then
she's got a gun!
Yeah, imagine I yelled out from the audience. But the whole time, I'm like, come on, baby, where's the gun? Show me the gun. But holy shit, was I engaged.
Burnt off the little bag.
He flies in with an AK.
He's got the gun. He's just like, I give her a... Burning the gun off. Oh, God, that would keep me... Imagine you go see Annie and they introduce at the beginning.
That's what I said. I was like, if you want to keep people captivated, you go out and you go, "Hey, thank you for coming to the musical performance of Finding Nemo. By the way, we need to use a prop gun." It's like, when the hell did they bring up this gun?
Oh, you made me ink.
Pulls out a gun.
Oh, and Andy, it's just, you bet your bottom dollar that the sun will not come out tomorrow. Oh my God, just any... Oh man, just any musical, go see Wicked, she just gets pissed off and pulls the Glock.
Yeah. But seriously, if anyone's in a musical started out by saying, "We have a prop gun."
Oh my God, just Anastasia looking at Rasputin weird.
Yes, well also, let's think about I've never seen Anastasia.
Not even the kids' cartoon?
No, but that was what I was thinking. Is like, this is a kid's cartoon. This guy walks out on stage and goes, "By the way, gun." And I go, how? And
when?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that it's like at the very, very end, everybody's bowing, and they pull the gun out. They're like, "Did you guys not think we were gonna use it?
You thought this was over? Where's Anastasia?"
Right? It's just like, oh man, I'm having a John Wilkes Booth flashbacks.
Exactly. Quick, come onto that balcony.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, sorry to change it. I just.
That's really funny. It's like, how do we even go back to T2? T2's got guns.
The way that he said it too is he gets up on stage and he goes, "Hey everybody, I'm really excited because there is a group of 5th graders that are here that I read to on Zoom, and today we're reading Wizard of Oz." I'm like, this dude is so fucking wholesome. Like, this guy's awesome. He was a great actor too, by the way. But he transitions from going, "I'm reading Wizard of Oz" to 5th graders to, "Today you're going to see a gun."
Exactly.
You don't know when or why or how. And he's like, and it's going to look real.
If I was an elementary school kid, I'd be like, or like middle school, I'd be like, this shit's going to be so good. Like, I can imagine just an entire middle school class being like, "Oh my god, I hate musicals or plays," and then someone's like, "There's gonna be a gun," and it's just like, get off your phone. When does the Glock come out?
It just pops up, gun.
Exactly,
gun.
just everybody's just like, mine. No, but favorite movie, like, moments of T2, I think one of the scariest parts besides the nuclear explosion has got to be when she shoots Miles. The guy, she shoots him, and then it's like, okay, don't kill him.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta talk to him. But it is a moment where it's just like, okay, do you kill this guy that's
Absolutely.
gonna press the button for the military?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, in front of his wife and kid, like, obviously.
No sweat, yeah.
Obviously, you don't even think about it.
I say that like cowards, I would have done it. But I'm like, I would have got it there crying passed out.
Right? But just, like, the scene where they're all smoking and drinking, and the wife's like, "I can't believe you're gonna end up doing this."
Yeah.
And the kid's like off in the other room, and he just like has these stress lines on his face.
Yeah.
Of like, "I can't believe I'm gonna do this. Like, how do we reverse this?" And it's like, well, you have to blow yourself up.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way to reverse this. That scene to me is chilling, just because it's talking about, like, it's like, no, this is gonna happen and you're the reason. It's like, wow, way to guilt trip me. Like, I'm just trying to do my job, but I'm the reason the entire world goes up in flames.
Well, it's really tricky though when you try and pinpoint like a specific event that leads to such a catastrophe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like do you really blame like the threat of nuclear war on Oppenheimer? Like, yeah, he developed it and created it, but it's like, do you really think that without him it wouldn't have been created at some point?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's the hard part.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and it's like that you can think about, like the Titanic. Do you blame the captain? Is it the crew? Was it the people that were drunk sleeping on watch? Like, it's tricky to try and pick a specific person or event. Thanks to our friends at Back to the Future.
Yeah, right.
Same exact problem. Like, usually there's going to be one specific person that stands out, right? Like the Miles and T2, Biff Tannen in Back to the Future, Hitler.
I like how we're comparing Biff to Hitler and the guy that presses the button to literally blow up the world.
Yeah.
Worse. Biff is worse. Because he picked on a fucking freshman in high school.
It's like that scene in The Office where he's like, if I'm in a room with Hitler, Biff Tannen, and Miles from Terminator 2, and I have 2 bullets, I'm shooting Biff twice.
That's like, literally, that's like blaming Flash for everything. Just being like, you're the reason the Green Goblin killed the orphanage.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's why I have a couple issues with the Terminator franchise, because it's gonna happen. Like,
right, exactly. Yeah, but I think that's a really cool scene, because people could be like, it slows the story down. Yeah. It does, but there's some really good acting in the scene.
There is, yeah. But I agree with you. I think for me the scariest scene was the nuclear thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which shook me as a kid, because I was like, and I don't know if I mentioned this on a previous podcast, but I was like, it would seem so real.
Yes.
Which it is. It can happen. But
yes.
I remember I asked my mom when I was a kid, I think I watched like Interview with a Vampire or something, and I went to my mom and I was like, I can't go to sleep tonight because I'm worried that a vampire is going to come into the house and attack me. And she's like, oh, sweetie, that's okay. Like, vampires don't exist. Obviously, it's no big deal. And I was like, oh, okay, so zombies don't exist, burglars don't exist, murderers don't exist, psychopaths don't exist. And she goes, hey, sweetie, do you want to sit down really quick?
Oh, God. It's like, wait, out of that list, which ones?
Exactly. I know. I was rolling the dice going, come on, zombies.
Come on, vampires. Don't want to have burglars.
Yeah, but for me, it's like, it's much easier for me to watch something that is, like, paranormal in that, like, fear-triggering sense. Because in my mind, I can go, okay, no real proof, not potentially real. I can put it in a box and not think about it. Where, like, a show like Criminal Minds.
Oh, God.
Where it's like murderers and rapists, and I'm like, oh, okay, did I double check, triple check that I locked my door? Like, that shit freaks me out.
I think the hard thing with that is it's like, wow, it's 8 o'clock. I could watch Modern Family. I could watch Blackish, or I could watch Criminal Minds, where Frankie Muniz is a cannibal. It's like, someone grab the controller, because it's one of those things where, like, I would consider myself religious, so paranormal stuff does freak me out.
Sure, yeah.
But, like, with the whole nuclear and everything like that, it's like, okay, you know what? Robots, androids, whatever, that freaks me out, whatever. But, like, seeing the entire area just explode, I'm like, that is scary. That's creepy. But yeah. I'd say, like, for my favorite moment, I really like the chase scene in the beginning of the movie.
Chase scene's really good.
Because that's just, like, how dedicated he is to, like, wanting to kill John Connor.
Yeah.
And the explosion is really cool and stuff. And this was, like I've said in the last podcast, this was one of the, because I'm a crybaby bitch, this was one of the first movies that ever made me cry, because it was just like, John Connor's like, you know, no, I order you, whatever, yeah, make the crying signal, oh yeah, okay, whatever, it's, I'm getting offended, but no, he sacrifices himself and throws up the thumbs up as the music's playing, and I love the ending though, with like, if the Terminator can learn emotion or whatever, maybe we can too, like that's,
it's good. It's a good end cap, for sure. Are you excited for Terminator 3?
See, the Terminator 3 is rough, because I remember seeing it in theaters with my dad, and we got out of the movie, and I was like, maybe 9, maybe 10. We got out of the movie, and he asked me, he's like, that wasn't that good, was it? And me being 9 was like, no, it wasn't. like, I just remember that was a situation where we both walked out, and even as a kid, I was like, that kind of sucked. He's like, yes. That's pretty rough. Do you want to get McDonald's?
You know, it's bad, too, because I feel like when I leave a movie, even when it's bad, you don't want it to be bad.
No, you want to try to be like, because people are going to ask you, they're going to be like, so how was the movie? Was it good? And it sucks to be like, it was awful. It was a waste of my time. I should have asked for my money back, but I didn't.
It was a waste of time, money, energy. Like, I will die on this hill so much to the point where you and I went to the midnight premiere of X-Men Origins.
One of my favorite movie theater experiences of all time.
One of the worst movies of all time.
100%.
And I left the theater going, okay.
Like, me too. I did too. I saw Gambit. Yeah. He was pretty cool for 5 seconds.
He was cool for 5 seconds. My favorite X-Men was Cyclops. He looked like a bitch, but that's okay.
Deadpool showed up for 5 seconds, and then they zipped up his mouth.
Yeah, so
it was alright.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, it's a great movie. Yeah. No, but you leave there and you're like, oh, it's not that bad. But people in the theater were pissed.
That was probably one of my favorite. I've told people are like, what are your favorite movie experiences? It's always been shitty movies. I've never been like, I saw Avengers opening night. It was so cool. We actually saw it together. I was going to use an example. I was like, wait, we saw that together. But I always use like the worst movies, because I remember we went and saw it and we were all really excited, and then everyone's like, all right, let's wait for the end credit scene. They're probably going to set up like X-Men First Class or whatever.
Which was a good movie.
It was. Yeah. But it shows Wolverine and he's drinking with the bartender, and the bartender says, are you drinking to forget? And he takes back a shot and goes, no, I'm drinking to remember. And then it ended, and I heard people go, I'm not going to do it, but that guy's right.
Yeah. That reminds me of a quote that Jonah Hill said in a movie. I can't remember what movie he was in, but he went to go and see a movie with his friend in a movie theater. And one of the movies he was going to be in, I actually think it was War Dogs.
Yeah.
There was a trailer for War Dogs, and Jonah Hill, like, as a joke, nudged his friend, and he's like, I want to go see that movie when it comes out. And then he's like a second later, someone in the audience said, yeah, maybe on an airplane. He said it was the most humbling experience he ever had.
God, yeah. I went and saw it over the weekend. I went and saw Fantastic Beasts. This is gonna piss off a lot of people I know, but I went and saw it, and it was such an airplane movie. It's one of those movies that you really don't have to pay attention to it. Like it's one of those things where you could put it on and you could be cleaning.
Sorry, there's people crying in the window outside.
Well, then they can hear it's an airplane movie. It's literally one of those movies where you could be cleaning and go, oh, there's a tiny dragon. Oh, that's cool. What? Clean. This movie, T2 is not. T3, oh boy, this is gonna be rough.
Stay tuned. We'll get into it. It's not our favorite movie.
What do you rate this one?
T2?
Yeah.
Probably like an 8 or 9.
Yeah.
It's a really great movie. T3, stay tuned. We're, normally what we say when we kick off a podcast is watch the movie, come back, listen to us.
Definitely watch this. By the way, I did something really stupid because my name's Zar and I'm stupid. I rented this and I didn't check that I owned it. I own this on Blu-ray 4K, and I was like, I'll watch it on streaming. I'm just going to stream it. Oh, it's streaming. And then I looked at my case, and I went, are you fucking kidding me?
One of the worst things that Zar can do is waste money.
Especially when I'm just like, it's right there. Yeah. I'd also say 9. I think it's great. I still think Terminator 1's better, but this one is like, if we had a DeLorean and you were like, let's go back in time and watch a movie, I would go see this movie on opening night because I think it'd be cool to see everybody just collectively lose their minds.
See, I think it would be cooler opening night for T2 because
yes.
everyone's so jacked. But yeah, so like I was saying, usually in our podcast we say watch the movie, come back. For T3, let us watch it.
Yeah,
don't bother.
It's almost summer. Like this T3 came out in the summer, like right around May. We're gonna be in May.
We'll watch it. We'll give you the highlights, and then you can just forget about it.
Yeah, don't watch it because I only remember the ending. I don't remember. I remember her being naked as a robot because not getting into that one, but.
But yeah, stay tuned for next week. We're going to finish up this mini-series by watching Terminator 3.
Rise of the Machines.
Yes, but that is it from us. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hallelujah.